Hi, I'm Coach CoachClemens, and welcome to Perfect Moments. You know, when I'm in throwing live batting practice here to the kids, I have a very strict limit of no more than 300 pitches a day. Okay, just kidding. Tomorrow I'm going to be about ankle deep in a pool of ibuprofen, trying to work out the kinks. But I really don't have to have any reminders of how fragile our pitching shoulders are and pitching arms are. I was fortunate enough to go on and get a scholarship to play college baseball. And one of the first things I did when I got to college was I tore up my shoulder. And to make a long sad story short, I had 3 shoulder surgeries, redshirted my freshman year, and then ultimately had to give up the game and give up the team because the shoulder just wasn't able to perform anymore. And so I think one of the things that, I'm very sensitive to the fact that our shoulders, elbows, wrists, all of the body parts in here are extremely fragile, and you don't get a lot of second chances, if any. So as adults, as coaches, as parents, as umpires, as league officials, I think it's absolutely critical that we take the best possible care of kids' arms that we can. And one of the ways we do that is by limiting the number of pitches that a kid can throw in a given day or over a given time period. Now, a lot of leagues will limit the number of innings a kid can throw. Now, that's maybe a good first step. But the problem comes in when you've got a kid that throws a 9-pitch inning and cruises right on through, and you've got another kid who throws a 32-pitch inning. Well, in terms of the wear and tear on those two arms, it's pretty obvious. The kid with 9 pitches didn't do as much damage to his shoulder and elbow and forearm as the kid that threw 32 pitches. And so, but in terms of how the league or the tournament views things, those are equal number of innings, and so those kids have an equal number of innings left that they can throw. The problem comes in, and I've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it as well. A couple of years ago, I had an 11-year-old kid pitching against us in a tournament game, 7-inning limit for the tournament. Well, he only threw 6 innings against us. It was a 6-inning game. He threw 6 innings against us. He threw over 120 pitches. An 11-year-old threw over 120 pitches. The league and the tournament officials could do nothing except wince, I guess, as I did looking at that. And I could not believe that coach sent that kid out there really for the 5th inning, but especially for the 6th inning. The kid was shaking his arm. He was tired. It was obvious that he was starting to get some discomfort. Even if he hadn't been showing those signs, that's way too many pitches. Again, we only get one chance with the ligaments, the tendons, the connective tissue, the muscles, the bones, the growth plates. We only get one chance with that. Let's make sure that we have our priorities straight, especially as adults. The kids are always going to want to go out there and throw. But as adults, we've got to see the larger picture. We've got to put things in the proper perspective. The Little League has come out with guidelines for each age grouping, in terms of the number of pitches that are allowed and then the number of days rest that are required after that. Even though your league or your tournament may not live by those rules or require those limits, I would suggest as coaches you take a good, strong look at that. There are other institutions and other organizations, medical, orthopedic organizations that have their own guidelines. As a coach, I would suggest that before you get in the heat of the moment and the game is on the line, that you in your own mind have a really good sense of what are the limits for the kids at your age group and how far are you going to let those kids go. And it's something that you need to have thought about before game time, before the 5th inning, before the 6th inning. And it's something that you probably ought to talk to your parents about. And whoever is keeping score for you needs to have a good way of keeping track of the number of pitches that kids are throwing as well. That way, as a coach, you can make good, informed decisions that protect the young arms on your team. Thanks for listening. This has been Perfect Moments, and here's to your perfect season.